channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. Today we're gonna start with your quantitative aptitude class, and that has been the class. This is your 151st class of the session. In that we have started with arithmetical ability. In that we had done operations on numbers, SCF and LCF, and many more topic we had done. And the 13th topic that we had done in the last is your partnership. This is your 14th topic, that is chain rule. In terms of chain rule also we had done your direct proportion and indirect proportion, which has also been important one, and we had done many of the questions related to it. Now we'll discuss the further continue, and that is we'll start discussing about 46th question of the session. As you know, we had done your 45th question of the session in the last classes, so we'll discuss that. But before starting with this, it's a huge request to all the viewers to please go ahead with like, share and subscribe, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. So here we go. The question 46th we have here is: a rope makes 70 rounds of the circumference of a cylinder whose radius of the base is 14 centimeter. How many times can it go round a cylinder with radius 20 centimeter? The options we have 40, 49, 100 and none of these, so we go for the same. A rope makes 70 rounds of the circumference of a cylinder whose radius of the base is (14 centimeter). How many times can it go round? A cylinder with radius (20 centimeter). The options is 14, 49, 100 and none of these, so we go for the same to find out. That is what we have to go for it, and let the required number of rounds be x. Let the required number of rounds be x. So it's the same. More radius, less rounds. This is indirect proportion. So 20 ratio 14 ratio 70 ratio x. It is 20 into x equals to 14 into 70. That is x equals to 14 into 70 upon 20. 20 and 0 been cancelled by 0. 2 1s are 2, 2 7s are 14, 7 7s are 49. So x will give you 49. So is the required number of rounds equals to 49. X equals to 49. Now we go for the next, and that we'll talk about it, which is being the 47th question. And the question we have: if 5 engines consume 6 metric tons of coal when each is running 9 hours a day, how many metric tons of coal will be needed for 8 engines, each running 10 hours a day? It's being given that 3 engines of the former type consume as much as 4 engines of the later type. The option for the same we have 3 1 by 8, 8 8 by 9, and 6 12 by 25. So we go for the same. If 5 engines consume 6 metric tons of coal when each is running 9 hours, when each is running 9 hours a day, how many metric tons of coal, how many metric tons of coal will be needed for 8 engines? Will be needed for 8 engines, each running 10 hours a day. Hours a day. It being given that 3 engines of the former type consume as much as 4 engines of the later type. C 1 by 8, 8 8 by 9, 6 12 by 50, 25. So we go for the same. Let the required quantity of coal be X metric tons. More engines, more coal. It is direct proportion. More hours per day, more coal. direct proportion. More rate, more coal, direct proportion. So engines 5:8, hours per day 9:10, and rate 1/3:1/4, 6:x. Okay, that's what we have to do. Let's find it out. Here we go. 5 into 9 into 1/3 into x. 3 ones are 3, 3 threes are 9, equals to 8 into 10 into 1/4 into 6. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8. It will give you 15x equals to 120 and x equals to 8. That we get as an answer. Now we talk about for the next question. That has been another important question here, and that has been your 48th question of the session. And that the question we have: if a certain number of workmen can do a piece of work in 25 hours, in how many hours will another set of equal number of men do a piece of work twice as great, supposing that 2 men of the first set that can do as much as work in 1 hour as 3 men of the second set do in an hour? The option is 60, 75, 90 and 105. So we go for the same, and that will find it out as well. So here we go. If a certain number of workmen can do a piece of work in 25 hours, in how many hours will another set of an equal number of men do a piece of work twice as great, supposing that 2 men for the same here, and that is supposing that 2 men of the first set can do as much work in an hour as 3 men of the second set do in an hour. The options were 60, 75, 90 and 105. So we can go for the same. Let the required number of hours be x. Let the required number of hours be x. So speed of working of first and second type of men are 1/2 and 1/3. So more work, more time. This is direct proportional, where less speed, more time. That is indirect proportional. Now we go further. Work, speed, that is 1:2 and 1/3 ratio 1/2. That is 25:x. So 1 into 1/3 into x equals to 2 into 1/2 into 25. That to be to cancel. So 2xz where that has been cancelled, and so x equals to 75. Okay, now we go further, which will discuss about another question. That is another important question here. The question is your 49th question of the session. And the question as follows: some persons can do a piece of work in 12 days. 2 times the number of such persons will do half of that of the work. The options were 6 days, 4 days, and 3 days, and 12 days. We go for the same. Some persons can do a piece of work in 12 days. 2 times the number of such persons will do half of that work in. So we go for it and let's find out. Let x men can do the work in 12 days and the required number of days be z. Let x men can do the work in 12 days and the required number of days bz. So we are more men. less days. This is in direct proportion. Less work, less days. Direct proportion. Men, 2x ratio x, work 1:1/2. This will be 12x ratio x here, and that is 2x into 1 equals z equals to x into 1/2 into 12. So 2 1s are 2, 2 6s are 12. So it will be 2xz equals to 6x. X being cancelled here, both sides, so z equals to 6 divided by 2, that is your 3. So x equals to 3. Now we go for the next. We have as your another question, that is your 50th question of the session. Let's go for the same. The question we have as follows: a certain number of men can finish a piece of work in 100 days. If there were 10 men less, it would take 10 days more for the work to be finished. How many men were there originally? The options we have 75, 82, 100 and 110. So we go for the same. A certain number of men can finish a piece of work in 100 days. If there were 10 men less, it would take 10 days more for the work to be finished. How many men were there originally? Option is 75, 82, 100 and 110. So we go for it. Originally, let there be X men. So less men, more days. That is less men, more days, which is indirect proportion. So we'll have x minus 10 ratio x 100 ratio 110. It will be x minus 10 into 110 equals to x into 100. 10x equals to 1100, x equals to 110. 0 being cancelled here, which will be the right answer. Now we go for the next one, which we'll talk about it. That has been the another important question. So that we'll discuss in the next coming class. That is your 51st question there, and which is of course an important one. So that we will be discussing here in the next coming class, and moreover in the next coming class will be ending it up if it is not been exceeded. So next coming classes will be surely been ending it up. So on the other hand, if I'm talking about here, which is we'll have to cover up, and so we have to cover up many more subjects. We had done your chemistry part 1 for class 11, and that is your part 2 we are dealing here, and physics part 1 we are dealing, and we are dealing with CBNST, we are dealing with English vocabulary. We had done your reasoning, where we had done your verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. In terms of other than that, we are dealing with AR diagrams and DBMS. That is been in terms of quantitative aptitude only, that we'll say. So here we discuss the next question. I just tell you, then we'll wrap up and if you are able to solve it out, you can solve by your side, so that it has been helpful to you, that you are able to know or not. In a camp, 95 men had provisions for 200 days. After 5 days, 30 men left the camp. For how many days will the remaining food last now? The options is 180, 285, 139, it is in the mixed fraction, 139, 16 upon 19, and none of these. So you have to find out if you are able to. Let's end up with this. In quantitative aptitude, that has been divided into two sections, which is arithmetical ability and the data interpretation. In arithmetical ability, we had done numbers, operations on numbers, SCF and LCF of numbers, decimal fraction, simplification, square roots and cube roots, averages, problems on numbers, problems on ages, odds and indices, percentage, profit and loss, ratio and proportion, partnership, chain rule, time and work, by persistent, time and distance, problems on train, boards and streams, allegations or mixtures, simple interest, compound interest, logarithm, area, volume and surface area, races and games of skills, calendar, clock, stocks and shares, permutation and combination, probability to discount, bankers discount, height and distance, odd man out series. And data interpretation, what we'll cover up is the tabulation, bar graph, pie charts and line graph. So here we're gonna end up with. Thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and you can also enjoy the video as well. Thank you.